Okay, I'm going to call our regular Board of Education meeting to order. I just want to apologize those of you that have been waiting. We had a hearing that ran long, so that is why we're starting our meeting late. If we could all rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'll do roll call. Jeff.
Here.
Jennifer.
Here.
Andy.
Here.
Rob.
Here.
Tracy.
Here.
Dan.
Here.
And I am here. Next item would be motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I move.
Support.
Is that Dan?
Yep.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Next, items of interest from members of the board. Does anyone have anything they'd like to share?
I just want to thank Becky Stewart for working with the Brush for Kindness, greatness of Habitat for Humanity that's been going on here in town. A church group that I belong to, we took lunch one day over to the folks that were there, and Mike Murphy was also there with his amazing group of kids that he always gets to go and volunteer, and it's just, you're just such a great role model.
And without
for the
Mike
kids.
Murphy and his volunteers, I mean, he supplies, not only does he work every day, he's the one that communicates. He gets those high school kids out,
Yeah.
and he probably had 15 every day, rotated them.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's an amazing asset.
Yeah, he just is. Kathy Miller worked as well. She's a school employee. She worked too. I mean, it's just great to have school district, employees who are doing that work and being great role models for the kids and what community is all about. That's what that is.
I actually drove by the one place where they were doing it, and they also look like they're having a good time too.
Well, I
while
think
they're
that's
doing
true.
it.
Yeah, and the house is getting there, so it's great.
Mike also was instrumental in helping to recruit students to work the Rotary Red Barn, which then in turn contributes scholarships and other opportunities for our kids. So
Good stuff.
A lot of community effort there.
Anybody else? Okay. Next, public comments. It's our portion of the meeting. If we have anyone in our audience who would like to address the board, we ask that you come up to the podium and tell us what it is you need to say. And if we can't help you this evening, there's a card up there to leave your name and telephone number, and someone would get back with you. Do we have anyone in our large crowd this evening who would like to speak? Okay. Next item, committee reports.
Budget and Finance met today. Everything appears to be in order.
Yes, to approve the claims and accounts we had in front of us. And I don't believe, no other committees met, right? Only Budget and Finance. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Next is the consent agenda items. Looking for a motion to approve those items.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. First administrative item, freshman sports.
While Dave is coming up to the podium, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish him a happy birthday. Today's his birthday, and then we're going to excuse him after his report to celebrate with his family.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you.
28. You should have received a copy of the report for the entire 2012-13 school year. Earlier in last school year, I believe it was in the November or December meeting, we covered the football and volleyball portions, boys basketball, girls basketball, and freshman baseball were added to the report, as those were the 3 other freshman sports that we have here at the high school. Our expenses for the total year for freshman sports was just over $15,000, and the income from gate admissions and pay to play were $11,840, leaving a deficit of $3,165.72. In the freshman athletic account, I had accumulated $3,468.78. Money was to be transferred from that to the general fund to cover the cost of having freshman sports here at the high school, leaving me a balance of $303.06, which will be carried over to this current school year, the 2013-14 school year.
And just for a new board member, we don't fund freshman sports, so it is self-funded. So Dave comes in and gives us this report, so we see where we're going. We get we'll get something like he said, football and volleyball at the end of that season, and then we get this for the start of the year to show what happened in the past year. Does anyone have any questions for Dave?
Just that you probably predict it's going to go the same way this next year with things?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
I did include something in my weekly report with our numbers were low with football. We have had some more added to the football roster, so we're not entertaining the thought of discontinuing that this year. However, there are 3 schools in our league that will not have freshman football, and 1 school will not have JV football. There are going to be 2 teams that cancel, or 2 schools that cancel varsity boys soccer, and also a varsity boys tennis team from one of the BWAC schools is not going to be offered at their school this year. So it wasn't just numbers. Our numbers traditionally have been good with our participation, and unfortunately not everybody is in that situation. We may hear some talk about that, and I expect as the school year goes on, during girls and boys basketball, some of the BVAC schools will not have freshman teams as well. And we're the only school that offers freshman baseball, so that's a positive for us as well.
So then to have opportunities for them to actually engage another school in a game, you go outside of BWAC? Is that
what I have done for our
works?
freshman football team this year? We were short 3 games. We will play Emily City twice, and Yale called today. They would like to play us twice. The 3rd game, I picked up St. Clair Shores Lakeview to fill in the game that our Maida freshmen we were supposed to play. So I post those on the MHSA website whenever you have games that you're looking for to fill vacancies. We did have some people respond. Some of them were, I felt, too far for us to travel or for them to travel. Bay City Western wanted to come fill one of the open dates, and I didn't think it was feasible for us to travel there and them to come here on a school night. So that's why we filled in the 2nd game with Emily City to play them twice.
Just where the football commission and cheer commission are, is that when we host a tournament or something?
Okay, on the football commission check was something that was not expected. It's something that the MHSAA started, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. When your team makes the playoffs, you get a certain percentage of the gate from the whole state that the whole state takes in, and they have some kind of formula that so the further you play in the playoffs, the bigger commission check you're going to get. And the same was with the cheer.
Okay. And then the chocolate milk, that was your
that was
your grant.
Money. Yes.
Okay.
Which you're only allowed to get once, so
Yeah, right.
we'll find others.
Right. I'm sure we will.
Hopefully.
Right. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your birthday dinner. Next, bond resolution. Linda?
We did not hear anything from Bev Bonding today, so I assume that means that we did not get the letter from Treasury, which we were hoping for, which might have allowed us to take care of next week's business tonight.
Okay.
But the Treasury has 30 days in which to act, and they typically take all 30. So we'll move next week's meeting, and we'll have to table this item until next week.
Okay, and I would need a motion to table this item to August 26th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any discussion?
At the same time.
Is that meeting's at 7? Great.
Why do I think 6 o'clock
I
is what
think
we set
it's
for this?
6 o'clock, what was that?
Okay.
I think it's,
It's 6.
yes,
6.
6 o'clock. Okay, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next.
With regard to the bond project, after that meeting, we have some upcoming activities. We want to recognize the TIPA contribution to the concession stand and celebrate the kickoff of the school year and share more of the information about the bond with our employees next week. And so I've given you dates in the last weekly report of several upcoming activities that the bond committee will be having, including a town hall on the 18th, so we may want to make note of that. All right. Counts from our committee meeting, Margaret?
Well, we all know that we're doing the staff barbecue on the 27th, and the new school open house is at 6 o'clock that night. Then we have the middle school open house on Wednesday, August 28th, 6 o'clock too, if I remember correctly. The town hall meeting, we're going to do September 18th at 7, guys, was it 7 o'clock in the auditorium? And after discussion at the meeting, we felt we wanted to try to do a town hall meeting in September because we are going to get information out to the absentee voters around that time. So we thought we'd be able to get that information out for those people, see what our turnout is, see how it goes, and possibly talk about doing another town hall meeting in October before the election.
And we had the letter.
And that letter's here. We have a letter for everyone to sign this evening. It's an open letter to our residents from the Board of Education talking about the bond, and then we're going back for the bond again. So Terry has that so that we can sign that, and that's going to go out with parent letters and also our list of registered voters. And Terry is going to once again do all of that work for us. We are very lucky. We have been working on a new video, and I know that Jason has been in a couple different times with some stuff in the buildings. We have 2 confirmed people that are 2 community members that are willing to be narrators for the new video. Mary Alice Bush, who is a retired elementary teacher, is going to be one of our narrators, and Cindy Greenya, who is a Richmond grad, Richmond Township supervisor and former board member, has agreed. And we also quite possibly have a high school staff member, but I don't know whether Dr. Olson has confirmed that up, so I don't want to talk about that person in front of the camera if that person hasn't been.
Jason and I need to talk. I sent Jason an email.
Okay. So we're working on that, and we're also going to be doing this evening the board is going to be part of this video, so we're going to be doing some filming after the meeting, so we're looking forward to doing that. We are going to be in the Gold Days Parade, board members, and we are going to have information on the bond to pass out. We're going to be looking to see if we can get any staff members that would like to walk with us, because it's a really good time and a good way to send a positive message out about our school district and what it is that we're all about and what we need to make us even better than what we are. I believe, is that everything that we talked about?
The classroom signage and building signage.
Signs for where the improvements are going to be made.
Yep. That was we also had a suggestion for the open houses to have signs that say, when the bond passes, this door will be fixed. When the bond passes, this will be different, or what have you. So have those up, signs around the school during the open houses for people to see. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna be even better when the bond passes.
That's great.
Yeah. That was it?
I think so.
Okay.
Because this item was really intended to be bond and resolution as a sub-item,
Okay.
so I didn't want to skip past it.
Okay. What about the calendar? We were going to get the board copy of the.
I can email that too.
Okay.
There were some revisions and stuff.
We created
that we made.
a calendar, from start to finish, and it will have dates and what's going on so that everyone on the board gets that.
Have the revised.
Yeah, he sent it.
Yeah, she sent it out. I'm looking at it right now.
I didn't get it, but
We'll send it on.
we'll send it to everyone so everyone on the board sees what we're in for. Okay? All right. Next, board paperless objective.
Okay, we've had several different things discussed as you'd like to have more information on. And one of them is to go paperless for the board packet. So this is an experiment tonight. I did some checking and MASB recommends board book. And so we contacted the company and we are trying it out as a test for tonight. I think Jeff has some additional ideas. This is helpful in the way that the board packet goes together, in that as it's developing, you can pull pieces in, and then when you send it out, it generates it into a PDF. So it has that flexibility, as well as being able to retract it easily and make a change and then republish it. But it does come at a cost, and that's a $2,000 annual subscription. So that information is there for you. It can operate strictly online, so you would never have to download it to a computer, although I did find last week, with all of our administrators being on, I kept having to reload, and it was very slow. So tonight I saved it into a Adobe Reader, which I think is up on the upper right-hand side of the screen if you need to do that on an iPad. And then it is there on the iPad. And so you also have the ability in Adobe Reader to make notes on it, write on it, different types of things like that. So it has that added feature. Not to say that we couldn't do something similar with a PDF, any PDF. So we can talk further on that, and we can talk with Eric too. Then I was also asked to obtain pricing on iPads, and for 16 megabits, they run about $4.99, unless we were to order a 10-pack at $4,790. And then a couple board members had asked about posting our board policy online, and originally we talked about doing that, but into the future when we weren't paying for the board policy process or the administrative guideline process. And so the current cost of that is $4,400, and then the $550 a year maintenance thereafter. There is expected to be a price increase in January. They haven't had an increase for a very long time. The $4,400 is the same price that it was since before I came here. In our note, we were recently notified that our Neola updates will increase in price this year of $100 per update, and we get 2 a year minimally. So, are there any questions?
Well, how about if we start with I think that the paperless packet and the iPads are probably one item, right? And then the board policy, if we wanted to do something with that.
I think so.
So I guess, why don't we start with if there is anybody that wants to make a motion with respect to going paperless and the iPads. We can do that first and then ask questions.
I think we can talk about what we found out in the Budget Finance Committee meeting is a copy. Each one of these copies costs us 0.002 cents. For the $2,000 that it's going to cost us to use board book per year, we can make 1 million copies. Now that's toner, the use of the copy machine, everything, other than the paper maybe. So I feel that $2,000 a year is overpriced. And if we want to see board packages, I'd say that we can print out board packages, have them here, and if Terry wants to email them to us beforehand, she can save them as a PDF. We could have them at home. That saves on our the postage. That really was where most of the money came from, right? The savings that we're looking for.
Terry's time.
Terry's
take
time.
a percentage of Terry's time and factor that into the cost of a board packet too. So
The
not
other
simply
thing
the copies.
is we could do some experimentation, just putting it into a PDF similar to you suggested, and maybe talk to Eric about some things.
Posting it on an
do there.
FTP site so we can download it or whatever.
I can give every board member credentials to get onto our website so that only you can see those documents.
Right.
And we can post it on a page or something with that regard. It would be fairly easy to do. In fact, when we were first doing the core curriculum with the other curriculum director, I did that so that only a person who logged in and had those correct credentials could see those documents. So we could do the same thing in that regard for any board packets. So
Eric, is it practical for us to continue to experiment with the iPads and laptops at the board meeting that school provides? I mean, we could do
sure.
have those available in the evening for you when you walk in.
Everybody, if
log
they
in.
wanted to bring their own device as well.
No, that's not going to happen.
No, okay.
No.
And what's the feasibility of actually then in those, because I'm not a tech person, to be able for me to go in and take notes and have my notes and highlights and those kinds of things within those documents in the format that you're talking about. Is that possible for me to do that?
I believe so.
Okay.
Sure.
Not without printing them off at home or any of those.
There are apps that are right on PDFs. Apps actually, the administration has been playing with it. It takes a little practice.
Okay.
So going that way, what he's talking about as opposed to the board, you're looking at the savings. That's the $2,000 you're talking about, Jeff?
$2,000 a year for that, and I don't know that we need iPads for each one of us if there are iPads or computers here.
Right.
You know.
I think that's the way to go. Experiment with that.
Try some different things until we get a better sense as to what
Sure.
we like and what.
We all can
What's
open
most
PDFs at
efficient?
home with, you can open them with your phone or whatnot. It's hard to read, but.
Dr. Wilson, tell me the liability kind of factor of using my own equipment to view things that are potentially confidential or potentially...
Well, if you're viewing it on a secure website, it's no different because it's not on your computer. And even It's not downloaded on your device unless you download it.
Okay.
But I think leading her question, if Jeff's talking about being able to do it, put it on your phone, that is then putting it on my device.
Yeah, but you're doing that anytime I send you an email.
Okay.
But an email is not something that's potentially
Confidential.
Yes. Can be.
Well, no, in reality, it shouldn't be.
There's no difference. I mean, the agenda, the school board agenda is not a confidential item. I mean, it's.
No, but I mean, things that potentially come in a board packet have a different level than just something that you potentially email. No? I shouldn't. What I am concerned about is if there is some sort of legal something in our future and someone's going to come in my house and take my computer because of something that happened on that computer related to school board or school things. That's what concerns me about using my own.
That's why we
equipment,
ask you
those
to
kinds
use
of
the
things.
school email address, so it's not on your personal whatever other account.
Now, aren't there other tablets that are also cheaper than $500 a piece that can do the same thing?
Kindles are, $199 or Samsung. There's a bunch of different ones out
That
there.
do the same thing
Yeah,
that
this
this is
is-
doing, right?
Even this,
That the basic function.
even that Surface would probably do the things that we're looking at doing, but it's not
How
a
much are
professional.
those, Jeff? I mean, I'm not.
They're between $150 and $200.
There's
There's
big cost savings
there.
there that make it more feasible for us to be able to purchase them as opposed to an iPad at $500.
Well, then why don't we get some information on that and maybe try some other things like you're saying. We can do a couple different things in the next months leading up until we find as a board what we're comfortable doing and looking at the cost of whatever it takes to get to that point.
I think the goal is to try to be as efficient as possible, and
Correct.
it's not necessary to create all this paper. Then
Right.
Now, would Eric be doing that or is that something as a board we do to explore these options, or Dr. Olson?
Correct.
Like to get price comparisons to different devices?
Yep.
like I sent you that Microsoft Surface.
Right, I was just looking at that one also.
Particular. We did order one of those to see how it is.
Well,
I don't think it was just in there for discussion. There was no suggested motion. I just provided you the information so we can, if you wanted to move ahead with something, or if we want to kind of explore a little more. And
I did like having this agenda emailed so I could look in this form and read it, whether it be at home or on my phone. And plus, I'm sure it's much easier on Terry to be able to do that and more time savings for her to print them all and put them in packets and get them mailed. And
I just want to figure out how to make my own notes because that's what
Right.
I didn't mind this much, but
if you save it as an Adobe and then you touch up in that, then you can use the pen
okay.
and make your notes.
But didn't you say because of how we're doing this here, whatever I wrote everyone would see right now?
Yeah,
It's
but
in board book.
you can't do it in board book. You have to do it in this. Then I read the
okay.
directions after I talked to you.
Okay.
And I'm wrong.
Depends what kind of.
Okay.
But it
'Cause I
also
didn't let
depends
my
on what kind of
notes.
Adobe you have. Right. If you
Okay.
just have an Adobe Reader, you're strictly reading. You can't highlight it.
Okay.
Do things.
But on the iPad, you can. In Adobe Reader. Or there's other good readers. You said is even better. But I thought probably most of you were Adobe readers, so I downloaded that instead of the one that I had, which I hadn't used anyway. So.
Well, I think if we explore some other things and see where we go from there.
I like the direction we're heading with this, so I think we can get to a place that's comfortable both technologically and financially.
I think so too. Now, with,
And the iPad instructions were pretty simple. They were like about 12 screens. And
okay,
I wouldn't say I've mastered it, but
okay.
I got
Now, what about the putting the policy online, that issue?
that's the hang up.
It's just a lot of money. And it's $550 a year just
Just to keep it
to
up,
be able to keep it
maintain
online. I think in the grand scheme of things, that's probably something we don't really want to do right now.
No, not for that
I
price tag.
agree. That's low priority. Some of the other things.
I mean, it's good to know, because we have been talking about it, it's good to know what the cost is, but I think right now, it's probably something that we can't really look at doing. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yeah, I am.
That's another thing we posted on the internet and on the website for us. If it was scanned in or created into a PDF or whether Word doc or whatever it may be.
On the school website, it can be.
Yeah,
And
on a
it's
secure area.
It is a public document, so
Yeah, it really
it
is.
really doesn't have to be.
And it doesn't have to be secure in essence, because anybody can come in and look at it and ask questions about it.
And what would it take to do that?
Depends what kind of files they are now.
Yeah, we would.
They're all
We have to scan it.
We can tell you later after we tried,
There we
because of the depth of it.
Okay.
But
I know
it's
it's-
done, and then all you have to do is the
It won't-
updates. on
It's giving me
it.
snow
So
traction right now in my car, so I don't know how big it is.
It won't. It won't have the clarity of what we would have it if they did it, because it'll be a scanned copy. It'll be fuzzy, so it doesn't exactly look the way we would like it to look, but it could be done.
Is that based on our scanner capability?
A scanned copy is never as good as a digital version.
I'm sure you'll update your books with those updates there. Up in front of you.
And so the update increase that you mentioned, that takes us from where, what are those updates cost now? It's just $100 more per update?
Right.
Right?
Don't know for sure that I'm accurate off the top of my head. I want to say $500, but Vicki, do you remember the Neola update bill, annual bill? I don't have that with me. I can email you
Okay,
that
that's all right.
information
That's fine, sure.
after the meeting. That's probably the better thing to do.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
It's almost a requirement to stay current with that changes in the law, though. Right.
Yeah, no, I know.
We good to move on? Okay, next, desktop PC purchase in the middle school computer lab. Vicki?
Okay, Mrs. Campa's middle school computer lab is outdated. And one of the requests in Mr. Bartell's budget, when we originally talked throughout ideas on what our needs were for budget, he's asked that that computer lab be updated. We set that aside at that time, but now that we have some funds that we don't, from the capital projects account, approximately $55,000, and we see an opportunity there to use those funds to replace this lab and to update it. So some of the computers are going on 5.5 years old, and Mrs. Campbell can't run some of the programs that she needs to run for her classes on the computers that we have right now. They don't have the capabilities of running her some of the video and some of the applications that she runs. So We've gotten the REMC bid pricing on 35 PCs, and we're asking to get an approval to replace those computers with the capital projects funds. So that wouldn't have any impact on the general fund budget at this time.
And this is something that we had talked about as a board during
our workshops, budget workshops.
Right.
Correct.
that if the money was there, this was one of the priority things that we wanted to be able to do.
That was one of the priorities, yes.
Is it the top priority or just one of the priorities? So I don't know if we have a priority list.
We have a priority list of 2 items. They are the copiers and these computers as the top priorities.
And we'll have enough money left to get the copiers that we had talked about. We're still debating on which copiers the middle school is going to get, but we're in the process of purchasing a smaller computer for Lee Middle, or a copier for Lee Middle School that is just for their office. It's a very small copier, but the other one we're investigating what's the best copier for the middle school. So we'll bring that at another time to the board. But there should be plenty of funds to cover those 2 items.
There's a sample resolution.
Well, I move to approve the purchase of 35 desktop PCs and monitors for the middle school computer lab at $20,300.
Second.
Is there a possibility for us to amend the motion so that it would state that that money is coming from the capital fund, those dollars versus general fund? Does anybody see a need to do that?
It's probably not a bad idea.
Did you call it the capital fund?
Capital projects.
Capital projects.
Sure, with the funds coming from the capital projects account.
Support.
You still support that? Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Well, what are we going to do with the PCs that are there now?
I'm going to take them and put them into the classroom that's next to the actual computer learning lab so that the teachers will have a place to take their kids to do things such as research. And so we're gonna still use them, but they're going to be the teachers will be able to check that out and take their full classroom down there and have bigger PCs rather than the netbooks that float around. So they are still going to be used, but they won't be running the applications that Mrs. Combo actually uses. She does some really incredible things, and her power, she needs a lot more power for what she teaches and what she does. So these, like Vicki said, they're going on about 5.5 years old. So you want to kind of refurbish every 5 years at the latest. So, but yeah, we're gonna put those into use. So.
The other thing too is with the online testing, the smarter balance testing that's coming out, that everything's online, testing online. We need computers. And the NWEA, which we're starting in 3 weeks, testing.
Anybody else?
I'm in support of this. However, does anybody see that this could negatively impact the technology aspect of both? That we somehow have all of a sudden found money to have new and improved computers in a classroom. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just wondering if that opinion will be out there in the community, and I'm just wondering if we're prepared for that. Is all I'm saying.
I think the explanation that we were given was a perfect example that she does such advanced things in that classroom.
Right.
But there's a need for specific technology in her facility.
And I think it's a good point, and we're just going to have to, whether that's part of our town hall meeting, whatever, to get that information out. That's why I think you're right, that the motion should have had that addition talking about where it's coming from, and we're just going to have to make sure that we're prepared for those questions or comments and answer them correctly.
Right.
And this is one classroom of about 30 and 35, and we have many classrooms of that number and 1,700 students here with needs to take the Smarter Balance test online and to have more experiences that integrate technology with the curriculum to be prepared for their future.
And again, that's the answers that we need to be able to
defendable position. We just have to make sure we're prepared.
Absolutely. Right.
You know, and I did pass out a book to each of the board members tonight called Inevitable, and it's about the changes that are taking place with the advancement of technology and how that impacts the classroom, and the walls are down. You know, the districts around us are using computers on a one-to-one basis. We're being encouraged to provide more and more in terms of online learning, whether it's a blended class or strictly an online class. And other schools are. And you know, many districts this year are moving to year-round school. That used to be a 1 or 2 in the state. Now there's like 2 I know of in our region that are are schools that we work with every day. So these are big changes, and what we're really aiming for is to meet the needs of every learner and to advance their opportunities as individuals. And this talks about mass customized learning and how we can do that with the use of technology.
So I guess let me backtrack, and maybe this goes to Eric. So is there any way, is there price breaks as you buy computers? I mean, is there?
It's REMC. Actually, it's better than REMC, which is the Macomb County bid. But those were just the numbers that I got. They're already broken down.
Okay. So there's not a price break if you buy 50 or 100.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
And to explain, part of the REMC bid those are items that are less than other places. You know, those are strictly in the schools use them, so you find them at a lesser price than if you go out somewhere else. Those are approved through the ISD, correct? Those REMC?
Yes, this is better than REMC.
This price is better than REMC, but what REMC? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good? Okay, I'm going to do a roll call. Rob?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tracy?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Andy?
Yes.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Next, cafeteria plans legal update. Dr. Olson?
Okay, as we have more people involved in the HSA portion, we wanted to review our cafeteria plan to make sure that it accommodated that. And in doing so, we discovered that our cafeteria plan left some other areas out in which there are advantages to our employees to take advantage of IRS regulations and to save some of their salary. And so we contacted our attorneys, who in turn recommended us to Steve Lowe, which then I remembered that he had been an individual I had worked with previously on this when I was in a different district, because this plan that Richmond has was prior to my coming here. And we went ahead and had him update our plan to incorporate all of those different benefits. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and approve the documents that he sent so that our employees can take advantage of those different options.
There's a sample resolution.
I move the approval of the attached documents to update our cafeteria plan and to allow our employees to participate in any or all of the tax benefits allowable by the IRS.
Support.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion?
I am so glad these came in an email and not in paper.
I know, this was an
There's a
ideal
ton
one
of
to
them.
do it. Because this was over 100 pages.
So no one has any
good reading.
questions or? It's great reading. Is that what you
Great
said?
reading.
Yeah, it sure was.
Great reading.
It'll dry.
If you're in Adobe Reader, there's a bar on the bottom of the screen that you can move to the appropriate page. Which is
So just so I'm clear about this, HSA,
Health Savings
Health Savings
Account.
Account, right? A cafeteria plan is the standard terminology for what this is, right? Because honestly, I opened this up and I was expecting to see something about the food service program. So I was expecting that. So that terminology is something I really had never heard of before. So that just is what it's called when you offer employees these tax things. It's called a cafeteria plan. Okay, all right. I just was
You had a buffet
clueless
of
about
things
that.
to pick from.
Okay.
And not every employee is eligible for every item. But we'll let the business office work with our employees on it.
And they just are typically communicated these changes
Yes, we will
at the
communicate that.
beginning.
Anybody else? Okay, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, Macomb County School Board Association Legislative Representative. You have to have somebody. And Steve Laurie and Brian Henke were our past representatives, and they both have moved on to greener pastures. So we need someone and the alternate, right, in case that person can't make it. Is that what we've done? Yeah.
I think we just had a person. I mean, we can have an alternate.
Linda has attached the legislative meetings that are this school year. Along with the Macomb County School Board Association dinners that you see those dates, any of us can go to those. Dr. Olson attends them, and any of us can go, and you'll get those notifications. They'll come in the mail. There'll be an invitation, and then you let Terry know if you plan on attending. The legislative.
I would really encourage you to try to participate in a dinner. I think it's enlightening to
I think so too.
visit the other schools and talk with other board members.
I think so too. And it's always good to have a legislative representative from the board that can attend these meetings and see what's going on and bring back to us.
These meetings are on Tuesdays, it looks like?
Legislative ones are on Tuesdays.
Legislative are always on Tuesday.
I believe so.
And then the Macomb County School Board dinners, those are
usually Tuesdays.
Are those Tuesdays too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I guess if someone would like to make a motion to appoint someone as our Macomb County School Board Association legislative representative.
I move to appoint Rob Rindell as the newest MCSBA legislative representative and Dan Hill as the alternate.
Tuesdays aren't good for me. I have a Little League, our meetings are on Tuesday.
Swap those.
Committed, sorry.
Would you like to revamp your?
Is anybody interested in it?
I can't. I'd love to do it, but Tuesday's my wife's late night to work. So I would have to find a babysitter.
You guys made me secretary, so.
Appreciate the offer. I knew that was coming from him.
So did you want to revamp your motion to nominate Dan?
No, he can't do it either. So.
If nobody else will do it,
available on
I will do it.
Tuesdays?
I'll bite the bullet. Let me try it.
I'll be the alternate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Jeff, would you like to redo your motion, please?
I move to appoint Andy as newest MCSBA legislative representative and Dan Hill as the alternate.
Go team.
Would someone like to support Jeff's motion?
Oh, I support.
Oh, I did. Thanks, Tracy. Okay. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Andy, thank you. It's going to be great having you on the board.
Well, and I would just tell you that Macomb ISD, because that's who runs those legislative meetings, right? Is it the
Correct.
Macomb legislative folk? They're top notch with what they do in Lansing and all that they do. So you're going to get some really interesting information from them. They're very passionate about it. So it should be a good meeting.
And that also doesn't mean that Andy has to be the only one that goes.
No.
Right.
Anybody can go.
He's just our voice, our voting.
He's just our main
Exactly.
person that will be attending, but
Okay.
anyone else can go with him. Okay, next item, need a motion to go into closed session with respect to contract negotiations.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're going into closed session. It's 8:40. Our next item is central office contracts. Do we need to have you go through everything, or can we just?
I think you can just
Thank
make
you.
the
Okay, that's what I wanted to do, so I'm hoping. Okay, central office contracts. There's a sample resolution.
I move the approval of the attached contracts for the AP clerk, board secretary, accounts payable positions, and transportation mechanic.
Support.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Okay. I'm going to do a roll call vote. Tracy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. And we are going through these because obviously we were just in closed session. So that's why we're going to rapidly go through these. Next is secretarial contract. There is a,
I move the approval of
Thank
the
you.
secretarial bargaining contract for 2013, 2014, and 2014, 2015 years as attached.
Support.
it has been moved and supported. Any discussion? Okay, I will do a roll call. Dan?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Next is our food service contract.
I move the approval of a 2% increase for the food service employee workers for the 2013-14 school year.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? I will do a roll call vote. Tracy?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Our paraprofessional contract reopener.
I move the approval of a 2% increase for the paraprofessional for the 2013-2014 economic reopener.
Support.
Okay. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? I'll do a roll call. Jeff?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Next, our administrative contract. That would be you.
I move the approval of the 2-year administrative contract at 1.5% increase for the 13-14 school year, as well as contract language that was tentatively agreed to.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, I will do a roll call. Rob?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Next, item superintendent contract extension. We had previously done Dr. Olson's evaluation in May and acknowledged it in June. Dr. Olson was given a satisfactory evaluation, and while it was not discussed between Dr. Olson and myself, when I met with her afterwards, after we did the evaluation, we did talk about it a month ago, I think it was, and she is looking for a contract extension based on the satisfactory evaluation that we gave her. So a motion would be in order, and there's a sample if someone is interested.
I move the extension of the superintendent's contract for an additional year to cover the 2013-14, 2014-15, and 2015-16 school years beginning July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2016.
Support.
Is that Rob? Okay, it has been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Do we pay retro back for through July 1st?
There's no increase.
There's no salary increase. It's just a strict contract. Yep. No.
Unless you care to, but then you would not.
No, there's no salary increase, just an extension of her contract. Anybody else? Okay. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We also have Dr. Olson's goals for the 13-14 school year. Did you want to speak to that?
At the last meeting, you asked about a couple additional goals, and I had originally given you 3, because that's what I asked of the other administrators, and I thought that's kind of what we were after. But you suggested maybe 1 in the area of finance, so this has kind of been my goal, is to try to manage the budget with as much stability as possible during times when we've had no increases and we've been dealing with decreases. And so that continues to be the underpinning of our budget process, is trying to have it be as close to balance as possible, and hopefully by the end of the year that we are balanced, because we're usually able to do that. And then as a legacy, is to continue to raise the opportunities and academic opportunities for our students, to build relationships that promote the district, and to work accordingly with our bargaining groups around our mission, vision, and belief statements. And that's kind of been my overall objective personally, and what I've tried to do, coming into a situation where there hadn't been contracts for a number of years, and people were talking about dissolving the district and that sort of thing. And I think we've made good progress. Our contracts are all up to date. I'm happy to say, because last year that was a major goal, is to get the teacher's contract in a readable format, maybe not ideal, what we would like to have, in terms of still opportunity for some further work, but there's been major changes in getting that into a document, and Margaret signed it today. And then to continue to further our relationship with the city and the townships. We've made good progress there, working with the city on the TIFA committee, and built the concession stand, and working with the city on their events to share parking lots. And we've been doing work for the city on maintenance of their vehicles, and we continue to check with each other. I got some names of contractors from them with regard to some road repairs and that sort of thing recently. So we do communicate on a fairly regular basis, and continuing to work with the townships, having visited all of the townships recently with the bond proposal. And this year we're adding our, I hope this year we can add something in the area of medical to our vocational offerings. At least that's something we're going to explore in more depth. We've been working to increase a number of our AP courses that are available, and we want to further our efforts to customize the learning for every learner by adding more technology and opportunities that brings to the classroom. We want to continue and expand our practices that insist that students have a clear understanding of their goals and how to reach them, and that they can rise to the challenge set before them. We're really looking at the learner being more in charge of that, and the teacher as more of the assistant. And one of the examples that we have been working on and will continue to work on is our grading practices district-wide that supports that. Okay, any questions? Is this kind of what you were aiming for? That's great. Jeff? Okay.
Thank you. Okay, next, agenda items to be included at our next meeting, which is next, are we talking next Monday?
Next Monday.
And we have those two things.
So we'll have the action
The
on
bond,
the bond.
yep. The two contract.
And the increases for the miscellaneous positions.
Yep, that's the two contract things.
And then the maintenance position, trying to obtain additional maintenance hours.
Good?
Good.
Okay, motion to adjourn would be in order?
Good old days
Wait.
information about the
Oh, wait.
parade, we just will email that, and the bus, is the bus a part of things this year or not, or with those banners on it, or any of that kind of stuff?
I haven't asked them. If that's what you'd like to do, I will ask them.
Yes. Good question, Tracy, yes.
That's coming up quicker than we think.
And Terry, did we get something from Good Old Days addressed to me about the parade?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll grab them.
Okay, thanks. Okay, then a motion to adjourn would be in order?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Meeting adjourned at 8:50.